well, you know, if you think this is okay, then you can accept it. Otherwise, I really don't care. And you know, this is like, hey, this guy's like, you know, people who are really successful. You ever see somebody who's really, really successful? They're not trying hard. Huh? You know, the saying is go for it, right? Well, go for it means somebody who's trying to be successful. Somebody who's really successful has it delivered. You know, they call out for it. Hey, you know, bring it up. Bring it up to the penthouse. Thanks, bye. So he was like in this mood of like, hey, I don't have to work hard. You know, I already got it. I got what I wanted. And actually he did. He became rich by his work. And in the beginning he worked very hard. But once he attained what he wanted, he realized, wait a minute, I don't have to knock myself out. You know? And he realized this, that you just, to get a certain result, you have to create a particular situation. And then, given the qualities of human nature, the people in that situation will themselves create the result. Very intelligent guy. In other words, you don't do stuff, you create a situation. And then people come into that situation, and because of the interaction of human nature with the situation that you create, then you get a certain result. Okay? Let's take ISKCON, for example. That's an example a lot of people are familiar with. Well, it's a good example of a wrong situation. Huh? You take a bunch of people off the street, put them in a building, and what's going to happen? It doesn't matter what you try to teach them. It doesn't matter what you try to have them do. It doesn't matter how much you try to control them, how much you try to force them to do this and that. What's going to happen is they're going to bring all their material nonsense and desires with them, and it's going to be chaos. It doesn't matter what else you do, because the very first step is wrong. Or not wrong, but the very first step is what determines the result. You take a bunch of people off the street and you throw them in a box. It doesn't matter. It could be any box. You know? You're going to get pretty much the same result, which is that all of their nonsense desires and are going to cause conflict with each other, and then there's going to be problems, and so on and so forth. Okay? Now, let's take another example. Well, let's take, for example, his landmark seminar, this guy. First of all, people have to pay $500 just to get there, just to be in it. And not only that, they're not just anybody, but these were people who had previously taken the S training. You had to go through the S training, then you could take the landmark seminar. Now I think it's different, but in those days the landmark was like the next generation or the higher class or something like that. So in other words, there were two big filters before a person could even get there. You had to go through the S training and you had to pay a whole bunch of money. $500 20 years ago was a lot more than $500 today. So that's right there. And then the second thing, the situation that they create, try to understand. You come in this room, all the chairs are lined up exactly, precisely. Everything is very clean. If you get there 1 minute late, you're not allowed in. You have to stay outside, and they give you a bunch of, nonsense. And they don't let you in. You have to forfeit your money if you're 1 minute late. You have to be on time. If you're not there on time, you lose. You have to be, well, so many things. Anyway, they set up a situation right? And the situation is such that you have already bought into that this thing is valuable, that this thing's important, that you're going to get something really great. You see? They set up so many filters. And you have to go through so many hoops to get into the room. So, we're doing something very similar. Somebody sees one of our videos on YouTube, maybe they make a comment, we invite them to the site, they come and visit, they look around, oh my God, it's complicated, there's so much here, look at all this stuff. And then maybe they find the new visitors page, and then they go through all the recommended things, and then they finally get to explore, and maybe they somehow or other look over in the last menu all the way over here, and they find, oh, community. And they wind up at the community site, and then they get, they see all these other things and all these people that are doing all this stuff, and it's like, wow, man, this is something. Yeah, I better get involved in this, if they even make it that far. But you see that the value of this is not that we make it difficult. The value is that there are going to be so many people looking for an easy way that will look at this and say, oh no, this isn't for me. Why do you think we have so few bad posts on our forum? Why do you think our forum is so clean? Because we actively discourage griefers, people who want to make trouble. See? People who want to make trouble want it to be easy. And we make so many requirements. No, you can't come in just easily. You have to apply, you have to register, you have to give your real name, your real email, your real picture. We make it tough. See? At first, you can't post anything. We're going to institute this whole system where the new users can't post anything. People who've been with us for a while, they'll be able to post. But the new people, they can just read. And they have to rack up so many karma points before they can post. You see? So we're going to have really, really high quality posts in our forum, only by people who've gotten through all those filters. We've been developing this now for a couple of years. And it's very successful. Because you might say, well, wait a minute, you only have 50 really active students. I think that's great that we have 50 active students. I think that's terrific. I'd rather have 50 active students than 1,000, no good passive students. Any day. Quality is much more important to us than quantity. And we're willing to trade quantity for quality. That's our policy, and it's been our policy since the beginning. And we're seeing the results of that policy in the fact that our students are making such great progress, spiritually. Yeah, it's nice if they can go through the course and finish the course and all that. That's okay. But the real progress is the change in their consciousness. And this is wonderful to see. It's very rewarding. Makes my day, when I see a nice post from one of our students who gets it, and I see that they're writing from this really nice internal point of view, and they're talking about their consciousness, and they have integrity, they're truthful, they're pure in their outlook and their desires. It's just so wonderful for me. I look at that and I go, oh, all this work has been worthwhile. Somebody's getting it, And then some rascal will write me some stupid comment about something or other, and I'll just blow him away. I don't lose any sleep over it. Not a bit. Maybe for half a second I think, I wish I could get through to this guy. But then it's like, oh well. Because we have enough students now who do get it and who are making advancement that we don't have to worry about all these other people who aren't making any advancement. They have locked themselves out. And we can't spend our scarce resources and time trying to help them. You know, maybe if we had a huge amount of resources, we could institute some program for people who are so damaged that they can't interact with us on the level that we would like. But we're not there. We may never be there. Right now, we have very limited time, very limited resources, and we have to spend those resources on the people who will get the most out of it. We have to be efficient in the allocation of our resources. So that's what we do. We put up filters. I'll be very honest about it. That's how we do it. And the aim of this is not because we don't like people or any of that. The aim is that we keep out the people that will pollute our association. You see? We keep out the people who are going to cause problems. And so far that's working out very well. And what it does is it gives us a safe space to advance in spiritual life. So I think so far